hybrid cars failing emissions tests? Here's Denver7 investigator Ryan Luby.
There's a certain degree of accountability that comes with living in our growing city. Driving on our streets, it comes in the form of making sure we keep our air clean. So surely Sarah Mullen's 2005 hybrid Honda with just 99,000 miles would help.
When it comes to a stop, the engine actually shuts off.
But in the eyes of the state, this little check engine light makes the whole car an environmental failure.
They ran the codes. They can plug into the computer and see what the engine codes were, and it came back saying that the hybrid battery was not functioning properly. It may hurt my gas mileage, but it's not hurting the emissions requirements, and it's not hurting the environment. It's still running just fine.
Sarah is a mechanical engineer by education. This saga of hers started back in March of 2015 when emissions tests for hybrids were first required. She ended up getting a temporary reprieve, a waiver, because replacing the hybrid battery, she says, would have cost more than the car's worth.
With labor and parts, probably around $5,000.
The trouble is now, state law says any vehicle, including Sarah's, can only ever get one waiver. That means in less than 2 months, when the car is due for its next emissions test, Sarah's stuck again. Turns out other drivers have been through some sort of emissions testing trouble on the whole. Denver7 Investigates crunched a year's worth of testing data and found roughly 550 hybrid vehicles failed. The state later told Denver7 that 179 hybrids over 2 years failed specifically for aging batteries and in some cases for a few other reasons.
There's nothing here that relates to emissions whatsoever.
Certified mechanics, however, say Sarah's car is still environmentally friendly.
There's no problems with the way the gasoline onboard engine is performing, running, from an emission standpoint or a drivability standpoint.
We had the guys at the Downing Street garage run tests of their own. Not only did they read the engine codes, they hooked up their gas analyzer, then drove the car around the city. The results, just as you might expect.
They're low enough, I thought they might not be right.
Oh my gosh.
0 hydrocarbons, 0.9 grams per mile of carbon monoxide. CO2 you ignore, and NOx is 0.
The numbers were well within acceptable limits for vehicles this old in hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxide. But unfortunately for Sarah, those numbers do not matter to the state because on hybrid vehicles, the state doesn't even measure actual emissions. If that's not telling, listen to Eric Sumter at Mile Hybrid.
Hybrid cars are actually all we work on.
He says he's had customers with similar frustrations, with some of them breaking down and crying.
I'm yet to meet the customer that woke up in the morning and said, I really hope I can go and spend a bunch of money getting my car fixed today. Fortunately,
Sumter says he might be able to help people like Sarah by putting hybrid batteries like hers through a reconditioning process for a few $100s as opposed to a few thousand. But he says it would just be a temporary fix. Yes, everyone realizes emissions testing was designed to hold Colorado drivers accountable for the air we breathe. But given the headaches for people like Sarah Mullins, the question is, should the state be holding itself more accountable too?
The state needs to step back and regulate what they're actually after.
Accountability, after all, is a two-way street.
Now, in the last 24 hours, Sarah learned that state regulators want to more closely evaluate her vehicle and 5 other hybrids that received waivers back in early 2015. They offered her a free inspection and acknowledged how challenging it can be for older hybrids to pass these emissions tests. We'll certainly let you know what happens.
And there is a reason the state just can't get rid of these tests, though.
Absolutely. It is federally mandated, but that does not mean it cannot change. That last time an audit was done back in 2012, it did. And remember, that audit said our air quality will likely improve with or without the program.
All right. Thanks for staying on top of this. I know, a very important topic to a lot of people. And those audits are done every 5 years. Another one, in fact, just got underway last week. Good timing because Denver7 already has the attention of state lawmakers from both parties.
I firmly believe that the people that this affects the most are the people that can't afford it, the people that are poor, that drive older cars, and they have to make a decision. Do I want to get my car fixed, or do I want to drive to work, or do I want to buy food, or pay my heating bill?
I think that what we're seeing is fewer older cars on the road, and as a result of that, the built-in mechanisms that make it such that we are not seeing all that black smoke, and it's kind of taking care of itself.
Those types of questions carried over to a legislative hearing last week, and that is when Colorado's health department defended the emissions program, even though the benefits are small.
We certainly are interested in making sure that our programs are as effective and cost-effective as they can be. It is tough to make a difference in ozone concentrations, and so the $500 million, I don't remember the exact number from that audit, is a significant difference.